Hello students. Yesterday we have studied about roots and types of roots and the regions which are present in the roots. Now our today's topic is root modifications. So let's see this is a new word for you, modifications. What is the actual English meaning of modification? That means modification means a change. So what is the root modification or what is the modification in the plants? So if any structural changes occurs in the plant to perform new functions which is suitable to the environment, that is called modification. And if that structural changes occurs in the root, that it becomes root modification. And if that structural changes occurs in the stem, then we can say stem modifications. And thus, if the similar any modification occurs in the leaf, then we can say it is leaf modification. So when a root is modified, the structurally it is modifying to perform new functions, and that to be suitable to the environment. That means it is modifying for doing new functions. So if actually we know that root has three functions. First, it fixes the plant to the soil. The second function is it absorbs the water, mineral and salts from the soil. And the third function is absorbs water, mineral and salt is to conduct it to the other parts of the plant body. Other than these three functions, if any structural changes occurs in the root to perform new functions other than these three, if it is performing any new function, that is called root modification. But it should be adapted to the environmental similarly. Just I am giving example. Suppose I have to act like Bhim. So I cannot go like this. So I have to change my attire first. I have to put a crown on my head and I have to hold a gada. Then I can look like Bhim. Similarly, the root also has to modify to do some functions, new functions. So now we see what are the modification types in roots. Root is modified. I have written here 8 type of modifications. Number 1 is storage roots. Number 2, prop roots. Number 3, stilt roots. Number 4, respiratory roots. Number 5, photosynthetic roots. Number 6, epiphytic roots. And 7, nodular roots. 8, parasitic root. So if we see, the first one is storage root. Now let's see what is the storage root. See, here I have drawn the diagram of carrot, radish and beetroot. There is one more example, turnip also is there. So I have drawn the diagram of taproot. Yesterday we have seen the definition of taproot. If the radicle directly elongates and it forms primary roots, and the primary roots, secondary roots are arised, and from the secondary roots, tertiary root arises, that is called taproot system. And I have given the example also that all dicots have taproot system. So see, what are the storage root? And similarly, for adventitious root, other than the other part, if other than radicle, if any other part of the plant develops into root, that is called adventitious root system. And fibrous root, we have seen that in this fibrous root, radicle is short-lived. After some time, it vanishes, and from the base of the stem, many fiber-like, thread-like structure arises, which is called fibrous roots. So let's see what is storage root. What is the function of storage root? See, in some biennial plants, here again a new word, what is biennial? Biennial, the lifespan of biennial plants is for 2 years. Annual means the span of life is for 1 year. And perennial means the plant lives for many years. Big trees like banyan trees, peepal tree, Ficus religiosa, it lives for many years. So annual, biennial and perennial. According to their lifespan, it is divided. So storage root, where we can observe storage root? In some biennial plants, the roots, in the roots, food is stored. So these plants store their food material in their roots and get bulged. Due to this bulge, see here the carrot is bulging, radish is also bulging, and according to their shape is again it is divided into fusiform, napiform and conical, or you can say conical, fusiform and napiform. See here what is the difference between these three. We can here the at base of the root is broad and at the end it is tapering. So it is conical type, and in radish we can observe, but both the base and the apex is tapered, only in the middle it is bulged. And in beetroot we are seeing it is top shaped, spherical, complete spherical structure, and at the end only a small hair like structure is present. So these are the storage root. So some amount of food is synthesized by the plant. And what is the food? The food is in the form of starch and water. So some amount of food is synthesized by the plant and it is utilized in biennial plant. The end of the season, if we do not harvest this plant, the fruit of the plant, it is utilized by the plant for the making the leaves and the branches. So the plant is utilized for the immediate requirements and the remaining food is stored in their roots for future purpose. So due to the accumulation of stored food, the roots get swollen or bulged or become round like structure and fleshy and tuberous. This storage root is also called as tuberous root because it is become tuber like. And here we see, I have given 3 examples. Taproot examples I have given, adventitious roots and fibrous root. Taproot example, conical example is carrot. The scientific name of, the biological name or botanical name of carrot is Daucus carota. And fusiform, radish, Raphanus sativus. Similarly, napiform, beetroot, Beta vulgaris. And adventitious root. So these are in shapes, conical shape, spindle shaped, and it is top shaped. In adventitious root, sweet potato is example, Ipomia batatus. Sweet potato is one example. So here, sweet potato's shape is irregular. It is tuberous root, but irregular in shape. And fibrous root, if we see, the example is asparagus. Remember, this asparagus comes so many times in your so many lessons. So asparagus is a fibrous root. That means a monocot plant. If I show here in the plant, this is a plant, and here in monocot plant, what happens? The radicle is short-lived, and from the base of the stem, fiber-like structure arises, thread-like structure, and all these structures store food material. So these threads becomes bulged in shape, and it form fasciculated tuberous root-like structure. This is the structure of asparagus, and it is, the asparagus is monocot. Yesterday in my class I have told you all monocots have fibrous root system. So I think you have understand what is storage root. In some plants, food material is stored in roots, and due to the storage of food material, roots get bulged. That is only called storage root. You have to remember all these examples, because various time it is asked in the NEET question, which type of root, which is the example for fusiform. If it is asked that fusiform example is radish. So many number of times this type of question, example type of questions is asked. Next, come to the second root. Our second root type is prop root. What is prop root? See, in some plants, the aerial branches of the stem gives root-like structures which hang freely in the air. And when it fixes into soil, it becomes pillar-like structures. And what is this pillar? meant for these pillars support the plant, give mechanical support to the plant, and these are become very thick. These roots are, see, here you can observe that from the aerial branches, this is the banyan tree. See, these are the branches of the stem, and from these aerial branches, roots are arised. Several roots are coming from these branches. First they hang in the air. Later on they fix themselves to the ground soil. Here they are fixing it, and once they fixed, they become pillar-like. And these pillars, so this is also called as, prop root is also known as pillar roots. So we say these are also known as pillar roots. So they remain hanging in the air for some time after they fix. And what is the function of this? They provide mechanical support to the plant. So external strength, they are giving additional strength to the plant, as banyan tree is very big, and if these are not there, then it will fall. So what happens? These roots provides additional support and giving mechanical support to the plant. Now come to our next topic, stilt root. This is the third modification. See, in both the modifications, in storage roots and prop root, that we have seen that root is performing new function. In storage root, we have observed that in roots food material is stored. That is actually not the actual function of root. And in prop root, we observed that roots are giving additional support. So this is also not the actual function. So like that, stilt root. If we come to the stilt root, in some plant like maize and sugarcane, here I have given only the diagram of maize, but in example when if I write example, you have to remember maize and sugarcane. Here the maize diagram is given here. So you can observe clearly from the lower part of the stem, lower node. This is if this is a plant stem, here one node is present, another node is here, and in this place another node is present. So the plant has so many nodes. From the lower node, roots arises, fiber like these type of roots arises. So you can observe that from the lower part of the node, roots arises, and what is the function of? They also give support to the plant. They also provide mechanical support. You can say they also provide additional support to the plant. So the prop root and stilt root, in these plants, in this type of modification, we have seen the roots are formed for giving additional support to the plant. Now, next, see the fourth one, respiratory roots. Of course, this is very interesting. Some plants which grow in marshy or swampy soil. So what is marshy and swampy? Ante muddy soil. In muddy soil, where it is completely in waterlogged, you can say in waterlogged areas, the plant do not get proper oxygen. The roots do not get proper oxygen. So in these plants, what they do, that from the root forms vertical structure to upward direction. These roots which are coming out from the ground, these are called pneumatophores. Pneumatophores. It is not pore, it is phore. Phore means stalk, pneumatophores. So the roots, from the roots, vertical structure is coming outside, that means above the ground level, and in these pneumatophores, small pores-like structures are present. Here, small, you can observe in this diagram, you can observe that small dots are present which are pores. These are pores and this is stalk, nematophore. So these small holes which you can observe is called nematodes. Nematodes. And through these pores, oxygen enters into this part. So the nematodes, through the nematodes, oxygen is going inside the plant. So the other name of this is called breathing root. We can also name this that respiratory root means breathing roots. The other name of these roots are breathing roots or knee roots and nematophores in it. Where is we can find in marshy and swampy soil, swampy areas, saline swampy areas. Mangroves live in these areas. So these are mangrove plants. In mangrove plants, so their roots will not get enough oxygen supply and for respiration. So these suffer the lack of oxygen because their soil are completely waterlogged. So mangrove plants produce special aerial branches from the root, and these aerial root possesses, these branches are called nematophores, and these pores are called nematodes, which help in the absorption of oxygen from the air. These pores are called nematodes, and they are also called as respiratory roots or breathing roots or knee roots. So example of this, rhizophora. One more example, Avicennia. This is the example for respiratory root. I think you have understood. Now, photosynthetic root. Come to the next one, photosynthetic. I think you have studied about photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? That means in presence of, photo means light. In presence of sunlight, plant is synthesizing food. So these roots are called photosynthetic. If the plant body is synthesizing food, we all know that leaves prepare food material in presence of sunlight. So here I have written that these roots are performing photosynthesis. That means root are making food, synthesizing food. How it happens? So this is the diagram of Cteniophyllum. Cteniophyllum is an epiphyte. Epiphyte means the plant which grow on take shelter on other plant. So I have drawn a diagram of Cteniophyllum. See, you can see Cteniophyllum. And in Cteniophyllum, what happens? Stem and leaves are absent. So when stem and leaves are not present, how do they prepare food? How do the plant prepare food? So in these plants, as stem and leaves are absent, roots become aerial. They comes out of the ground, they become aerial and green in color and branched. And these branches again absorb moisture from the atmosphere and synthesize carbon. And carbon, so these assimilate, they perform assimilation of carbon. Hence these roots are called assimilatory root. As they are assimilating carbon, these are also known as assimilatory root. So I am once again explaining you this part. What is photosynthetic root? That means the roots have to synthesize food. Remember one thing, this is not the function of root. But here roots are going to synthesize food material, because here in Cteniophyllum, in this plant, stem and leaves are absent. So when stem and leaves are absent, roots are coming out of the ground level, and it comes above, becomes aerial and becomes branch and ribbon like structures. They are green in color. That means they are having chlorophyll, and with when they absorb moisture, when the atmospheric moisture, water, they synthesize food material and assimilate carbon. So this is called assimilatory roots also. One more example is there, Ctenospora and Trapa. Cteniophyllum, that example is already given, because in this plant stem and leaves are not present. Stem and leaves absent, are not present. So I cross here. And in Ctenospora and Trapa is an hydrophyte. If it is asked in the NEET which hydrophyte performs acts as photosynthetic root, you can tick on Trapa. So Trapa is a hydrophyte, and here in Ctenospora and Trapa, stem and leaves are there present, but additionally the root is performing photosynthesis. So if it is asked additional photosynthetic root, which plants are additional photosynthetic root, and Ctenospora, Trapa and Cteniophyllum is given, then you cut this. Then Cteniophyllum, cut the Cteniophyllum and tick on this Ctenospora and Trapa, because in these two plants leaves and stem are present, but then also root is performing photosynthesis. So this is the photosynthetic root. Another name of photosynthetic root is assimilatory roots. Now see the next one, epiphytic roots. What is epiphytic roots? I have told earlier that epiphyte means the plants which take shelter on other plants or big trees. Here in dense forest, some plants do not get proper sunlight. So they take shelter on big trees to get proper sunlight. So here is a plant which belongs to Orchidaceae, Vanda roxburghi. Vanda, this is Vanda. Example is Vanda. So these plants, as they grow in dense forest, they do not get proper sunlight, so they take shelter on big trees. And when once they take shelter or they fix themselves to the big trees, they get sunlight. And how they fix themselves to the big trees and how they get food and water from that, just see. The other names of this root is also called velamen roots, because they have velamen root system. So epiphytic roots are also known as velamen roots. So the smaller plants in evergreen forest do not get sufficient sunlight for their growth. These plants take shelter on the branches of big trees to obtain more sunlight. Such plants which take shelter on the big plants are called epiphytes, and their roots are called epiphytic roots. So these plants have two types of root. Number one, velamen roots. Number two, clinging roots. We will see the second one first. What are clinging roots? See here you can observe the diagram. If you see the diagram, clinging roots are very short in structure and these are branched. So these roots are very short in size and they are branched. What is the function of clinging root? They help in fixing the vanda on the big trees, on the trunk of the big trees. So this is the main function of clinging root. Clinging root, the main point was it is short and branched and they help in the fixation of the plant to the big trunk of the big trees. And second one is velamen root. what is actually, well, I mean, what are these roots are actually functions? They are long and branched, and they hang freely in the air, and these roots do not produce root hairs. You have to remember that velamen's root do not have root hairs. So these roots are branched and long, and they freely hang in the air and absorb atmospheric water, moisture, which is present in the atmosphere. So the velamen roots contain a special multi-layered dead hygroscopic epidermal cell tissues called velamen tissues. As these velamen roots have in epidermis have special type of tissues, and these are hygroscopic in nature. That means watery, the cells are holds water, and they absorb atmospheric water, and that is how they get water, and they only take shelter on the big trees. They prepare their food, they get water from atmosphere, they only take shelter. So these are called epiphytic roots. Now come to see nodular roots. So where we find actually nodular root? In some leguminous plants, leguminaceae family, these plants belongs to leguminaceae family, and or you can say Fabaceae, or another name of Fabaceae is Papilionaceae. Due to the presence of Papilionaceous corolite, the family name is Papilionaceae. So in leguminous plants, so these plants in the roots have small nodule-like structures. We can observe these nodule-like structure in the roots, and this structure, so this is called nodular. These are nodules. So due to presence of these nodule, it is called nodular root, and the nodules are inhabited by colonies of rod-shaped nitrogen-fixing Rhizobium bacteria. It is a bacteria name is Rhizobium, which is the shape of this Rhizobium is rod. Some are circular, round shaped, and some are rod shaped. So Rhizobium bacteria is a rod shaped in structure. So this bacterium absorbs atmospheric nitrogen and converts it into ammonia and supplies to the host plant. These bacteria, what is the function actually goes on like this. These roots have nodule-like structure, and in these nodules, a Rhizobium bacteria is present. These bacteria absorb nitrogen, which is present in the atmosphere, and it converts the nitrogen to the ammonia. And Fabaceae roots, it is present in the Fabaceae roots. So these roots are also called as symbiosis, because a plant is living with the bacteria. So this is called symbiosis, or symbionts these are called. So example of this is Arachis hypogaea, is groundnut. The botanical name is Arachis hypogaea. Now let's see the last one, parasitic roots. What are actually parasitic or parasites? Parasitic roots are, you have to first know what is parasite. Epiphyte, there is a difference between epiphyte and parasite. Epiphytic plant lives on, it just takes shelter on the plants. But parasite means it takes food and water. That means it is squeezing, it is taking everything from the plant. So the parasitic roots means these plants which depend on other plants for their food material and for water, this is called parasitic plants, and on which they are dependent, that plant is called host plants. So in some plants, roots become parasites. These plants form a hosteria-like structure. These hosteria penetrates and goes into the xylem and phloem, and if it is going into the xylem part, it is taking water from them, and if it is going into phloem, it is taking food from the phloem. So these parasitic roots, so here the plants which depend on other plants are called as parasitic plants, and which gives shelter to this plant is called host plant. And parasitic plant produce special adventitious roots which is known as Hosteria, which penetrates the root or shoots. It actually not only root, it goes into the shoots also and attacks on the xylem of the shoot and the phloem of the shoot. And if it attacks on xylem, it is getting water from that, and if it is attacking phloem, it is getting food from that there. So and again it not only attacks on shoot, it is attacking roots also and the host plant to absorb food and other required nutrients. So we have seen that there are two types of parasitic: incomplete and complete. What is complete parasite means? Complete parasite, if it is taking food and water both, it is taking food and water, it is complete parasite. If it is only taking water or food, it is taking only food, that means it is taking water only and it can prepare food, that is incomplete. So here see the Cuscuta, we have seen here the diagram of Cuscuta. Cuscuta is a complete stem parasite. Example, Cuscuta. Cuscuta is a complete parasite. Because here you can observe the Cuscuta do not have leaf like structure or anything it has completely covered the plant, and it is getting from water and food, it is completely dependent upon the host plant. And this is another plant, Striga. Striga is a incomplete root parasite. Striga is incomplete. Incomplete root parasite. It is Cuscuta is complete stem parasite. Because how you can say that it is incomplete? See, if you see the diagram of Striga, it is having leaves, so it can perform food, but for water it is dependent upon another plant. So this is incomplete because it can perform its food, but for water it is dependent for another plant, so it is incomplete. And as it is attacking the root, incomplete parasite. Whereas we have seen in this diagram, the Cuscuta is attacking on the stem, and the Cuscuta is not having any leaf like structure also, so it cannot prepare the food, and for both food and water it is dependent upon the host plant, so it is a complete stem parasite. I think you have understood all the topics, all the types of modification. Storage root, the example of storage root is carrot, radish and beetroot. You have to remember all the examples. Carrot, conical type of root, conical tap root example is carrot, and a spindle shaped or you can say fusiform is radish, and in napiform example is beetroot. Similarly, prop root example is banyan tree, and stilt root we have seen in sugarcane and maize. Respiratory root, it is also called as breathing root, which is present in marshy, swampy soil, and special structure like nematophores which comes out of the ground, and vertical, these are vertical structure which have pores, and the pores are present in nematophores which is called nematodes. And these respiratory root, the example also known as breathing roots, and the example of respiratory root is Avicennia and Rhizophora. And photosynthetic root, they are helps in assimilation of carbon. So these roots, the example of these roots I have given: Tinospora, Trapa, and Teniophyllum. And epiphytic root, that means some plants take shelter on other plants, then they get proper sunlight. These have two types of root: clinging root and velamen roots. So these are also called as velamen roots. Epiphytic, you can say epiphytic roots or velamen roots, because these epiphytic plants have two types of roots: clinging root and velamen root. Clinging root, they are short and branch, and they help in fixation. And velamen roots are long and branched, and they hang freely in the air, and they are hygroscopic in nature. They do not have root hairs, and they absorb atmospheric air, moisture. And the nodular root, we have seen that in Fabaceae plant, in Papilionaceae plant, in the roots nodule-like structures are present. In these nodules, Rhizobium bacteria, which is a rod-shaped bacteria, is present, and they absorb nitrogen from the soil and converts into ammonia. So here symbiosis is taking places, and this is the nodular root example we have seen: groundnut. And parasitic root, the plants which are completely depend are complete parasite. That means they are depend for food and water upon other plants, and some plants are incompletely dependent. That means they can prepare food, but for water they are dependent upon other plants. That is called incomplete parasite. So Striga is an incomplete parasite, and Cuscuta is a complete stem parasite. So for today lecture, I think you all have understood root modification. Tomorrow we will again see what is stem modification. Thank you very much.